Hello, everyone. The real adversary of the tale was Vought American, the company that produced superpowers and then allowed them to run wild in the world. Even if Homelander was the main foe of the boys and Billy Butcher ended up being the last big bad of the show. The comic's evil is all the result of Vaught's unrelenting pursuit of power and wealth. Garth Ennis's writing for The Boys number 19, illustrated by co-creator Derek Robertson, gave the reader essential background information about the history of Vought to Huey Campbell, thus laying the groundwork for understanding the series' overarching themes. The primary focus of Garth Ennis' superhero satire series was power abuse. Beneath the use of superheroes to further this critique was a strong antagonism to the worst aspects of capitalist enterprise, as embodied in Vought American's portrayal of the boys. Beneath its torrent of profanity and graphic violence, The Boys presented a fictitious universe imbued with moral complexity and a cogent societal commentary. The portrayal of Vought American by Garth Ennis was crucial in this regard. The company was portrayed as having successfully established hegemony over the US, and, to some extent, the rest of the globe, thanks to their exclusive invention, Compound V, which is the recipe for producing soups. Vought American permanently altered human history by bringing superpowered people into the world. But as The Boys number 19 exposed, the firm had a real detrimental impact on the 20th century even prior to the development of superpowers. Huey Campbell sees the Stan Lee clone known as the Legend in The Boys number 19, and the legend reveals him the real story of Vought American. He adds that the business, which was formerly known as Vought American Consolidated, started out as a maker of armaments. However, it turns out that Vought was illegally corrupt as early as World War II, selling American fighter jets that had been hurriedly put into production despite having significant design defects. They later supplied American soldiers with faulty weaponry in Vietnam, which resulted in their deaths. Vaught's initiative to produce weapons for business included the invention of soups. As the legend makes clear to Huey, the company's objectives and willingness to sacrifice individuals in order to attain them remained the same, even though the soups were only their first successful product. The real antagonist of the series is Vought American, who at enormous human cost pursued wealth and power and was directly responsible for all the suffering in the boys. Put another way, Vought created the circumstances for the disaster that the series' characters unintentionally find themselves in. In addition to challenging the superhero genre's norms, Garth Ennis provided a contemplation on the nature of power and its corrupting influence with the boys. He achieved this goal by skillfully using superhero figures as a metaphor. Yet, for the most part of the series, the boys' superheroes were part of a hierarchy that put the top executives of Vought American above them. For this reason, even though it played the part in an unconventional manner, the firm ought to be considered the main villain of the series. The Boys was, after all, an unconventional series. For all its absurdity and abrasiveness, it was in some important ways more grounded than the usual superhero stories it parodied. Among them was its icily gloomy portrayal of a business that is prepared to openly support widespread suffering in order to maintain its prosperity. In the same way that Homelander was a severe counterpart to Superman and all of the boys' superheroes cruelly mocked a well-known comic book character, Vought American mercilessly mirrored the worst aspects of certain actual businesses. The significance that comic book depictions of its real superheroes played in the story's universe was crucial to the boys. Comic books chronicling the heroic deeds of Superman were published by a subsidiary of Vought, which not only created a substantial money stream, but also served as a tool of controlling the narrative surrounding Superman's behavior. In the background, this made it possible for Supes to escape punishment for actual murder, as well as for all other atrocities that may be committed. This in turn let Vought American keep control of the Supes, which was a tactical consideration on their part. In The Boys, Vought acted as the focal point of a control matrix, generating several points of tension that culminated in the show's signature gory finale. It's crucial to remember that Vought did more than only conceal the widespread wrongdoings of its superpowers. Rather, it actively supported and encouraged these superpower excesses, demonstrating the corporation's immense evilness and the immorality of even the worst superpower crimes in comparison. The most important lesson that Vought took away from its mistakes in World War II and Vietnam and applied to its success with soups was that it was prepared to put up with a certain amount of misery in order to turn a profit. As it grew in popularity and expanded to include more affiliate businesses in a wider range of industries, the amount of suffering that VOD America could tolerate rose dramatically. Garth Ennis used the superhero genre to deliver a powerful critique of the unsustainable for-profit sector, so commenting on a very real reality. The series has already altered at least one key component of the comics denouement, which leaves room for fan conjecture over how Amazon's The Boys may conclude in contrast. This means, among other things, that Vought can be portrayed in the TV adaptation as the real antagonist of the narrative, perhaps even more so than in Garth Ennis' original script. The villain of Vought American exceeds the worst deeds of any one character by a wide margin, underwriting all the horrors and suffering of The Boys. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Please